Alright, the first thing you're going to notice is, or you may not notice, I'm going to tell you, brand new carpet throughout the coach in the last year. This is household carpet with pad. This isn't just some sort of thrown in carpet. 95% of the coach was redone. The only part of the coach that wasn't redone is right here on this, what we'll call the doghouse that covers the engine, and also the vertical parts right here. Partially because the vertical parts were okay, and the carpet it was literally glued onto this, and it would have been too much to take off. It actually is a very good match. When we bought the RV, the carpet was pretty beat. The gentleman I bought it from, as I mentioned, used this quite a bit, and it was just needed to be replaced. We also replaced the couch. So this is about a $600 couch, about $800 by the time it got shipped, and we cleaned all the chairs. Okay, so what you have here is you have two captain's chairs in the front. They both should spin around. I've never been able to get the driver's side to spin around, but I'm sure it does, and the passenger side spins around. As I mentioned, this has not been carpeted. You have some cup holders and a little console in the middle. These are really comfortable chairs. Neutral color, beige, as you can see. They're made by a company called Flex Steel. So these fold down like that, so it's real comfortable to drive. Seatbelt on this one is a little banged up, you can see here. Doesn't really stay up, but it still works, functions fine. Across the front here, again, on the other side, we have identical chair, works the same exact way. Arms and things like that, armrests. They go back and forth and tilt and then also spin, like I said. This actually on the passenger side is an option from Winnebago. Slide this out, TV tray or computer tray or whatever you want to use it for. Maps, something like that for your co-pilot. Slide that back in. You can see here maybe a little bit more of the cracked in the windshield. Once again, it hasn't gotten any worse. Trucker style fans here, so you can see if you want to just circulate some air on you. They blow right there. You have a rearview mirror for whatever reason. Lots of storage, in this RV inside. We'll keep going around the side here. Storage up here for the passenger or for whoever else wants to put there. Some good storage. Incidentally, both sides have a shade that pulls all the way down, so take a look. So if the sun's blaring you, you got one on there, and the driver's side has one also. Also, there's a window here for the passenger. No door on this side. That's where your telephone jack comes out. I'd have to test that again if you really wanted to use it. I've never used it, and it was taken apart when they did the carpet. Power right there, so when the generator, when you're plugged in, you got power for your laptop or MP3 player, whatever you want to charge your cell phone. Pocket there for whatever. Lighting, reading light behind you if you wanted. There's a screen here that pulls all the way across the front and meets the mirror, and another one on this side that pulls all the way across the front and meets in the mirror at the mirror. That's why when you're parked, you can enclose this. When I park this to store it, I keep it closed, so one, nobody can see in, and two, nobody can. It's not going to keep it's going to keep the sun out and the UV light out. As we mentioned, lots of storage up here at the right. Though is sort of your entertainment center here. Nothing comes with it, but I've had a VCR in here. That's what fits here. The cabling's there. It has a little switch here for feeding the front TV, and there's a TV in the back, as well as what feeds your VCR feed if you wanted to record it. But you could, everything's coaxial cable, so depending on what you wanted to hook up, you could just get the coaxial cable and you'd be all set there. Also, there's a powered antenna, as we saw on the roof. There's an amplifier here. And here is the controls where you turn on for the satellite dish. When I turn this on, you'll hear it come on. It makes noise. The light even lights, you can see there. And this is a switch here, so you can either choose your front speakers to be the radio or the TV. I'm sorry, the rear speakers. The front speakers are always the radio. The rear speakers are either the radio or the TV here. On this side, I'm sorry, 19-inch, I believe. GE TV, nothing special there. You can see me there. But it works, and it works pretty well, for what it is. You can replace with a flat panel if you wanted to. More storage up here. Winnebago manuals, fantastic manuals, the original sticker and stuff in here. I'll show you those later. More storage like you had on the passenger side. This is where I keep the registration and everything like that. And also the screen, as I talked about there. All right, moving along to the driver's area. You'll see here, I'll just turn the key on. Here's the backup camera that's going to come up here in a second as soon as the monitor warms up. This is a standalone backup camera, so you don't have to use a DVD player or put some monitor in here or anything like that. It's always on. It works great. I just leave it on. Matter of fact, I leave it on because the switch is sometimes a little funny, so it just stays on. What I have over here, turn some light on so you can see, hopefully. There we go. And what I have here coming down the side is the radio. You can have the radio either choose to be from the main battery for that starts the engine, or the auxiliary batteries. You can have the aux battery on or off. This is the chassis batteries, so this shuts it off. So this way, when you walk out of the coach, you're going to let it sit. I shut that off. Nothing's draining them, so when they come back in, you're good to go. Remember, the solar panel on the roof is going to keep them maintained, so when you get back in, they'll be good to go. They also get charged, or should be getting charged as you're driving. Jen said I can start the generator from here. This is one of 3 places. Remember, one at the generator itself, inside is the other, and there's another one in the back. Rear heater is for the back in the bedroom. I've actually never had to use this, so I'm going to make the assumption it works okay, but I've never had to use it because I don't do any camping in the winter time. And then the fans here we talked about. Cigarette lighter, controls, etc. Radio's missing the volume knob, never been a big deal. Cassette deck, 4 speakers in here. As I mentioned, 98,956 miles, almost 99,000 miles. Okay, at the top here you're going to see this door ajar light on. That has always been on since I owned it. I don't know what it's for. I mean, obviously I know what it means, but it doesn't make sense why it's on. I just ignore it. The doors are closed and it's still on. If it really bothers you, you can get up there and just take the lamp out. At one point I owned this last year, and I turned the key and the key just went right over. Something broke in the ignition. I had my mechanic fixed it, and unfortunately he fixed it. It works great. It starts fine every time with the key. The problem is, you can see the steering wheel is straight. The wheels are straight, but the steering wheel is a little crooked. And the indicator for what gear you're in does not work anymore. Never was a really big deal for me, and never got a chance. I just couldn't get it back because they were sort of this wasn't their priority as far as when they were working on an RV. So it never really bothered me. I left it. It steers fine. The alignment's fine. You know, as far as that goes, it pulls a little bit to the right every once in a while. But once again, we need new tires and things like that. So. Cruise control, delayed wipers. You have a momentary start switch here, which means if you ever kill your main battery, meaning your engine battery, and you need to start from the chassis batteries, you just push this switch, turn the key, it goes right on. Fog lamps out front, and you also have a switch here for heated mirrors. Once again, I don't RV in the winter time or when it's, so I can't vouch to whether they work. Power mirrors, light switch, etc. As I mentioned, this RV is wired for a CB radio. Somebody had one in here previously. You have your mount here for your mic, and the connection for the antenna is right down underneath here, and the fuse box is right there. You can just power it up. Floor mats from the factory in here, so they're nice to have. This comes off if you need to service the engine. There's a key that is in the compartment here that you use to unlock it. Incidentally, in here you're going to see 2 yellow knobs. This RV does not have a traditional emergency brake. It has one that looks like it's an air brake, but it isn't. And with a knob that goes right here. This knob here was a little worn out, and the switch was broken. Somewhere along its life, a dog had lived in here, and they chewed it. So that's part of the reason why we got rid of the carpet. And so that knob's shot. Also over here, it looks like somebody chewed on the handle over here. So I replaced the switch, and the knob was some crazy amount of money, and it just wasn't a big deal, so I just have the old knobs in here. You can still work. This is actually, you pull it out, it sets the what's called auto park, and you push it in, and that releases the brake. One thing I would probably do, it's worked pretty well. I was on a really steep hill one time, and it rolled a little bit on me. I wanted to get that checked out, but once again, I don't really camp too much on hills, so it wasn't a big deal there. Like I said, a couple little things, you know, that needed to be fixed along the way. Air conditioning we talked about already. Additional cigarette lighter here, although you'll notice, and I did this so I know what it needs to be fixed, the connection came off on the back. It's literally right behind there, except it's not as easy as sticking your finger through, so it's just going to take somebody some time to just feed that back through. When I used that, I pulled it out and it came right out with it. So that's about it here we have at the front of the coach. Power mirrors, like I said, you know, they're really nice and big, and nice big dash for sticking stuff up there if you need to. Last but not least, somebody at one point either put a sticker, or Winnebago had a sticker here for something and ripped it off, and there's a little bit of hole in the vinyl there and some residue from the tape. Just, I'm not sure why somebody would ever put a sticker there, but it's what it is. Okay, so that's about it from the front of the coach.